It's easier to find a high-paying job in Israel than you probably think it is. People who want to move to Israel often complain that the salaries in Israel on average are much lower here than they are in most major cities in America. The average individual income in America is anywhere between $63,214 and $71,456, depending on the source that you look at. But in New York City, the average salary is much higher. According to smartasset.com, an individual person's salary in New York City is $107,000 per year. By comparison, in July 2022, the average monthly salary in Israel was only around $3,400 per month. On an annual basis, that is the equivalent of about $40,800 per year on average. But don't let the high figure in New York City fool you. According to recent research, a salary of $100,000 in New York City feels the same as a salary of $36,000 anywhere else around the world after taxes and adjusting for the sky-high cost of living. So a six-figure paycheck in New York City does not take you as far as you might think. Now, yes, it is true that taxes are also high in Israel, and cost of living in major cities of Israel like Tel Aviv rival the cost of living in New York City. But there are two major differences. First, for the same high tax that you pay in Israel, you receive many more employment and social benefits. For example, free healthcare, maternity leave, disability pay, pension, severance, and paid time off that you can actually take off because it's culturally acceptable. And there are also other benefits that are all baked into the withholdings taken out of your paycheck in Israel. Additionally, Israel offers high-quality education, subsidized low-cost and high-quality university, and subsidized childcare. So there are many added costs that people need to pay for out of pocket in America, in addition to the taxes that they pay, whereas in Israel, all of these costs are included in the withholdings and taxes on our paycheck. So at least the high tax is accounted for something of value that you're receiving. Second, even though rents are high in Israel, even in cities like Tel Aviv, you will get a lot more square meters or square footage for an apartment when compared to an apartment in New York City for the exact same cost. And you'll probably also get more natural sunlight. And although you can probably find cheaper rents or bigger apartments in other parts of America outside of New York, you can also find cheaper rents and bigger apartments or homes in other parts of Israel outside of Tel Aviv and other major cities. For example, I recently bought an apartment in Ramat Gan because I wanted to be close to Tel Aviv, but I didn't want to pay the Tel Aviv prices. Once I move in, I'll be walking distance to Tel Aviv, and in all honesty, I like the neighborhood where I'll be moving to so much more than any area that there is to live in Tel Aviv, so it's a win-win situation. But even if you can't survive in Israel on $40,800 per year, don't worry. It's easier to find a high-paying job in Israel than you probably think it is. So let's quickly run through 7 jobs that make the equivalent of between $80,000 and $130,000 or more in Israel. And some of the companies hiring for these roles do not require the employees in these roles to even speak Hebrew. But before we jump into this list, if you appreciate this video and want to see more videos about moving to Israel, life in Israel, or managing your finances generally, be sure to subscribe to my channel. It's absolutely free for you, and it means so much to me. So the 7 jobs that make really great salaries in Israel are: number 1, JavaScript programmer. This makes about $120,000 per year, but also in general, high tech is a big industry here. So coders, programmers, data analysts, machine learning experts, and all different types of techies get paid handsomely here in Israel. Number 2 is sales for high-tech international companies. This makes also about $120,000 per year. If you have a background in sales and want to sell high-tech softwares and products globally, you can get paid very well for this. Number 3 is freelance writing. Some make up to $100,000 or even more per year. People can make much less than this as well, but if you're willing to hustle and bring in a strong base of clients and establish your expertise, there is potential to make a lot of money. If you have a degree in English, you can also be an editor for academic papers and publications. My cousin is actually a professor at a local university, and she said that the university pays pretty high fees to have dissertations edited by freelance writers who review academic papers for grammar, spelling, and phrasing. Next on the list, marketing communications. This starts at only about $42,000 per year, but can grow to as high as $80,000 per year. Marketing communication managers are typically responsible for a variety of functions related to helping startups or other entities communicate, including drafting marketing collateral, helping out with public relations, and even planning or organizing events. In some companies, Hebrew may not be required. However, this career will cap out around $80,000 per year, but that's still a very respectful salary here in Israel. Also on our list is the Israel Electric Company. Electricians at the Israel Electric Company make about $130,000 per year, so if you can snag a job with the Israel Electric Company, you'd be all set. Next on the list are salaries at Israeli state-owned / government-owned companies, which average about $90,000 per year. There are so many government-owned companies or high-paying government positions. I can't go into all of them, but you should definitely look into this because you can get paid handsomely. Next on the list is product managers. They can make over $100,000 per year. Not to be confused with project managers. Product managers serve as the liaisons between a company's customer base and product development team. They are frequently employed in technology companies. They help companies make strategic product decisions that can increase profitability. If you don't have qualifications to work in any of these fields, don't worry, you may qualify to get a master's paid for by the government for free. If you are under the age of 30 and you are Jewish and want to make aliyah, one of the many benefits you receive after making aliyah is the opportunity to get a master's degree in any subject of your choosing. The cost is largely subsidized as long as you are under 30 years old when you make aliyah and when you start the master's program. Also, if you don't qualify for these roles, you can do what I did and start off by working for a company in America or your local country that either has offices in Israel or wants to eventually open offices in Israel or do business in Israel. You can spend a few years at that office in your local country and do an amazing job so that you can prove to them how invaluable you are to the company. After you've made yourself invaluable, you can ask the company to be transferred to work in Israel. This is actually how I was able to secure a 6-figure job in New York City that I was ultimately able to bring with me to Israel when I moved here. The trade-off, though, is that I often work New York hours, and that means working afternoons and evenings, but to me, that's worth the financial stability, especially at this stage in life before I have children. Another very similar option to this is seeking a remote position in your local country that will allow you to work from overseas. This will also give you an American salary while working remotely in Israel. However, this option may also require you to work evenings. You can search LinkedIn and filter for remote positions specifically. You will see countless remote positions available on LinkedIn, so be sure to check those out. Last but certainly not least, you can start your own business in just about any industry that you specialize in. There are so many different options of businesses you can build. For example, if you're a U.S. accountant, you can give U.S. tax accounting advice to local Americans who need to file taxes in America every year. Or if you are a consultant, you can build clientele in Israel that require your consulting services. There are so many jobs or side hustles that you can turn into a 6-figure business here in Israel. If you want more ideas for businesses that you can start and make good money from almost anywhere around the world, watch this video over here next, where I share 6 side hustles that make great money. Thank you guys all so much for watching.